So what is Neon Fish? Well, Neon Fish is a nonprofit, and it uses art to help other nonprofits and other organizations, or just things in general that I care about. And I do this through fundraisers and education resources and spreading awareness and resources for people in need. And one of the ways I did that is through this art show that I'll talk about throughout the rest of this. The mastery credit that I am defending is Advanced Design Thinking and Entrepreneurship. The artifact that I am defending is my solo art show that I am holding through Neon Fish, which is a business that I started myself. So my business is kind of my sub-artifact, but my main artifact is my art show. I had my first art show last year. During exhibition, I got my favorite paintings and I hung them on the walls, and that was my first time showing my paintings to people in person. I was just starting to get comfortable with posting paintings on social media, like really nervous about showing it, so this art show was like a really big step, and a woman came by and asked to buy paintings, and I got so many compliments from so many people, and it was awesome. So that kind of kicked off the Neon Fish art show agenda. After the first exhibition at school, I wanted to do more of it because I didn't know other ways of making money through art besides doing commissions and tattoo artists and stuff like that. But it was like, oh my goodness, I can sell my own paintings and make money that way. And then my mom said she has connections with a woman from Courage Milwaukee, and it was her idea originally that I should do an art show with them. And at first I was a little skeptical, but then I wanted to do it more. I thought it would work. But what is Courage Milwaukee? Well, the words exactly are that they fuel a collaborative movement to provide the resources LGBTQ plus youth need to thrive.
But our mission at Courage isn't to provide housing. It's to fuel a collaborative movement, right? To make sure our LGBTQ plus youth across the state of Wisconsin have the tools and resources they need to thrive.
And they do this through housing, they do this through scholarships and education opportunities, they do it through donations, and so much more. I'll get into it soon.
We accepted our first resident into our second facility that is providing housing for those that are aging out of the social welfare system, those that are forgotten about, those that have been through a system by no request of their own, right? And then they turn 18 and the system says, go. So we were providing these young adults, free housing for 36 months, and we are working with them to save money, to get a job, to understand the benefits of going to therapy, and to provide a safe space for them, right? We want them to build themselves a community. So that building is on 20th and National.
In general, Courage's main objective is advocating for safe spaces for queer youth. And one of the ways that they do this is through gender sexuality alliances in schools.
Because we have so many adults across the country right now that are basically telling us that we don't exist. So by you being here, you're telling so many queer youth that they do exist and that they matter. So whether you're here to support Finley or here to purchase art, you are already doing the work that so many people aren't doing. So thank you for that.
Another thing that I find extremely admirable about what Courage does for housing is that they have something called the C2 apartments. And this is for people who age out of the social welfare system, specifically queer people, from age 18 to 24. And they can live there for up to 3 years. And while they're living there, they go there for free. At that point, that's when these people are most likely to become homeless or definitely have nowhere to go after they're done living in the Courage house. So Courage gives them another option.
Residents working on their high school diploma or GED will not have to pay rent. Those who've graduated and have a job will be asked to pay a small percentage of their salary, which will all be returned to them when they leave.
And that's not where we end. We have 2 more things to go. Another thing that Courage does for the residents is it helps them get grants and scholarships to any kind of higher education. And One of the community service projects that they do is called Courage Kits, where they get 1 gallon Ziploc bags and fill it with this list of items, mostly personal hygiene products and food, and they give it to public schools in Milwaukee to give to their students that are in need of them. My mom had a connection with a woman from Courage, and she was the one who gave me her email address and her contact information, and I talked with her. My mom also talked with her first because my mom did a lot to help. She gave me the address and that I didn't meet her there, and it was Halloween, but it was also very snowy and it was not good weather and she was late, so I was waiting outside, and the people who lived in the Courage house let me in. They gave me candy, we watched cartoons, and they were people my age, and it was a feeling we realized these are not just sad statistics, like these are kids just like me, like they deserve a home. Like this is what I am doing the art show to raise money for, and I was just like, okay, I need to do this. Okay, so I'm having an art show now, but what am I going to sell? How am I going to advertise this? Well, this is all of the paintings that I had ready, but I had no prints and none of them were ready to sell. I was also working on 4 larger scale paintings, and they were all of this blue-haired girl named Cicada. I wanted to sell postcards, business cards, greeting cards, buttons, stickers, so many things. And I decided I needed to learn how to use a Cricut Maker to make that happen.
So what we can do is you can click and drag to make them the color that you have and modify the design in that way, or you can go by Ravina.
After the events, I met with her about twice a month, but I would email her almost every single day. I kept getting these to-do lists of things to do, and I kept contact. 3 months before the art show is when I started advertising. And how I advertised was through Instagram, Snapchat, even WhatsApp status. But what really, really helped advertising was my stepdad would go to the Capitol, and he lives in Madison, so he would just hand out all of the flyers to all of these politicians. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm having politicians on my side now? And I started getting letters from them, and I met some of them, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm getting really big connections out of this. I also started handing out flyers of my own at different universities in Milwaukee, such as MIAD, UWM. Those are actually mainly it, but I would also put them up in Colectivo and different coffee shops or different billboards that I would find. But how did I know to advertise this early and these are the best ways to advertise? Well, through my annotated bibliography. In my annotated bibliography, I have 18 overall sources, 10 of which are peer-reviewed, and all of them have a brief description of how I use them for my defense, or if I even use them for my defense at all. I have 1 perspective that contrasts my own, 6 edu or .gov sources. 8 of these sources were not involved in the production of my main artifact being my art show. And this annotated bibliography is posted under this video on YouTube, so any future student and basically anyone can find it. And in my annotated bibliography, the colors and the font match my brand. I mentioned that earlier the woman that I was working with in Courage said that I should invite other artists, and there was an artist that's actually a musician that was on so many of my playlists that I actually really liked, and they are local, and I thought, wait, what if they say yes to performing, and since it's a benefit, a fundraiser, maybe they'll perform for free. And so I decided to email them, and they said yes. At this time, I was just spending a bunch of money. I found a bunch of frames and a company, and it's called This, and it prints many things for a cheaper price, and I got a bunch of prints, and I even got some on canvas. But my mom got a tablecloth with my logo on it, and that was so cool. And I got stickers and postcards, and I got these things throughout iteration of preparing for the show. So my grandma and I sat and wrote a bunch of friendly letters to people asking them to come to the show. So that was another form of advertisement and getting things ready. At this point, my main focus was to get my paintings done for the art show, the main paintings that I was working on, and this is what they look like now. I've recorded so much of me painting, and you can find that footage on my YouTube channel. But now there was a problem. The woman from Courage that I was working with had connections to the owner of the LGBT Center in Milwaukee, and they let us have our show there, which was awesome. So thank you, LGBT Center. We were told we only have 2 hours to set up before the show, and it took 2 days to set up. So we were like, oh, this isn't going to happen. We can't, it's only 2 hours, that won't work. We did a lot of negotiating with the space and with Courage, and we finally got the day before and the day of to set up. The people who helped most was my mom and my stepdad, but also 2 of my friends came in to help set up, and then my best friend came with her sisters later. But then we came across another problem. The amazing band Rat Bath said that they would perform if we had a sound check ready for them, and we thought that would be easy, so we were like, okay, yeah, we can do a sound check, we got this, because the LGBT Center has a PA system that I thought we could just plug their instruments into, and that would be easy peasy. But it wasn't, and they needed a formal sound check, and to do that, it would cost $500. And then we were debating whether or not we should have Rat Bath come, even though they are an amazing band and they were there for us for so much. But it would cost so much money out of the money that could go to Courage. But then we realized, you know what? Rat Bath has a big following. If Rat Bath comes, more people would come. Also, I want to keep this connection with them. So we gave them the money. But after paying so much for the sound check, the people of Rat Bath who have been working with me and helping me this whole time, they should get some of the profits too. If I'm paying the sound check people, I should pay them. So I did. Well, not me. My family helped a lot. Everything was going good. There was only one problem at this time, and we were still debating whether it should be a solo or a gallery show. And I really thought it should be a solo show because I had way too many paintings. It could fill the room, and if it was more than one person, I wouldn't have enough room for my paintings. Also, I was the one who was organizing everything, inviting everyone, advertising, getting everything together, keeping contact. I wanted it to be my show because I've never had a solo show before. And I talked to Courage about it, and the woman said that if we had a group show, more people would come in. And I was like, okay, we just need to raise money for Courage. But the thing was, Courage has the same connections that I have, so I don't think more people would come in. So then I asked a second time and then a third time, and she's like, okay, fine, we'll have solo show. At this point, another thing that happened was that the woman I was working with from Courage didn't have her job anymore, and I don't know what happened. Maybe she left or maybe something else happened, but she didn't have her job anymore. What was I supposed to do? But guess what? The director of Courage started working with me instead. Okay, so now my art show is coming up sooner, and it's time to really start advertising. I emailed 25 people. I asked other people to email and help. And again, my mom, being the best mother ever, she decided to email so many people that she knew and had connections with to come, and she did that. Also, my stepdad kept handing out flyers to the Capitol, and some of my friends put the art show on their stories, and I started making a bunch of Instagram reels and a bunch of videos on CapCut, editing things, posting stuff, making my own commercials, and I invited people in person, and this was just the time where I was just inviting everyone I could. The best advertisement is my favorite musician ever showing my painting on her stage. Yeah, I think that's good advertisement. That's good advertisement. The art show happened and it was much more successful than I thought it would be. People started showing up to 2 hours before it started, and an hour before it started, one of my paintings was already sold. Not everyone I met, but most of the people I met throughout my life heard about the show and decided that they wanted to come, and it was so heartwarming that these people actually came for me, you know. And I invited the first ever Latina Milwaukee alderwoman, the first ever openly queer Milwaukee alderwoman, Jogasta Zamaripa, and she said that she would come to my show and speak.
He asked me because he knows that I am the first out openly LGBTQ plus alder to be elected here in the city of Milwaukee. But I can't wait. That's Tuesday when we'll swear in the first openly gay man, Peter Bergelis, and we'll be there and we'll be queer and we will fight hard for us. But with that, I want to make sure to note, and Brad already said it so well, everything that Courage MKE does to support not just our queer community, but our queer young people, our LGBTQ plus youth that need those housing options, and in particular, the C2 apartments that just opened up in the 8th district where I represent. I mean, it is so important when you think about young people aging out of foster care. Think about how much harder it is if you're a young queer person, if you're a young transgender person. Think about how much harder, how much more the deck is stacked against us. We need organizations like Courage MKE. So please, buy this art. Finn did an amazing job. I already bought my piece, Finn. Back there, Brad already rung me up.
And of course, the director of Courage was invited to speak too.
And we are working with them to save money, to get a job, to understand the benefits of going to therapy.
I had a speech ready, it was in my head, but the second I went on the stage, I forgot everything I was supposed to say, and I was just super happy.
And it's absolutely incredible. And the thing is, like, they're coming to support Courage, which is an amazing cause. Like they have the building set up. I've seen the inside of the house for the younger people, and it is absolutely beautiful. And the people, like, are always giving so much kindness and niceness. And like just being here, like all of you are coming here to either support Courage or support my art, and that is like more than I could ever. Like that is crazy. Like
so many people asked me to sign autographs for them, and this one kid that I have never met in my entire life came to the show and said, "I saw your paintings. I made this picture for you. Can I have your autograph?" And I was like, "Oh my goodness, thank you." I danced with many people. And so many people were talking to me at once. I would be in one conversation with one person, and then a completely different person would come, and a completely different person would come. It was very hard to talk to so many people at once, but it was very warm and sweet and wonderful that people drove all the way from Madison to come to the show. I stayed after, and some of my friends stayed after too. Also, my mom and stepdad did. And as the band was packing up, they said that this was their favorite performance. And that meant a lot because this was one of my favorite bands. I got so many nice words of encouragement from the guitarist, Rosie. And this isn't only benefiting Courage and my business, it's benefiting the LGBT Center because there's no one running it right now. But I brought in so many people that have never been there before. And also Rap Bath, after the show and during the show, people have come up to me and asked what song were they playing, can I find them on Spotify? And after the show I got letters from so many people who live far away and live close by, politicians, many people asking to buy my paintings because I sold out at the show or because they couldn't come to the show. But how does my art show that I deserve advanced design thinking, entrepreneurship, advanced mastery credit? Well, first standard, marketing and branding. Student will prepare written materials, information, visuals, prototypes, and a well thought out pitch for their new service or product. Student will pitch to a local community. Business plan. Students can create products, services, and a system that will solve problems and enhance the user's experience and focus on global impact. Student can create products and processes with an entrepreneurial approach, with an understanding of the business model canvas. Launching a business. Student will launch their business, developing supply chains, inventory, advertising, sales procedures, and documentation. They will lead a report on their business as an exit event from the experience. For example, this defense. Rest my case. Also, thank you for watching, and thank you to everybody who has helped with my show. It means so much. And thank you for the opportunity to defend.